Hey there, it's Leisha from Caught by Design. I'm here with a video tutorial to help you learn a little more about using compound paths in Silhouette Studio. Compound paths can be a little hard to understand. If you've ever been working with a design and trying to manipulate it and couldn't get it to do exactly what you wanted it to do, chances are you were told to either make a compound path or release the compound path. And while that may have worked for you, hopefully it did, you may not understand why it worked. So first of all, let's define compound. A compound is simply one thing that is made up of two or more things. In other words, you take two or more parts and combine them into a single thing. In Studio, creating a compound path doesn't change how a design will cut, but it changes the way it behaves. Let me repeat that. Creating or releasing a compound path does not change how the design will cut, but it does change how the design behaves. Now, at first glance, it may be hard to know whether a design is a compound path or just a group. So let's take these circles for example. Each set of circles on the screen consists of a smaller circle within a larger circle. Each set of circles moves as one unit. And if I go to the Send panel, you'll see that they're going to cut exactly the same way, a smaller circle within a larger circle. But one of these is a group and one is a compound path. And the easiest way to find out which is to fill the shapes with color. So if I fill the shape on the left with color, the entire image turns yellow. But if I fill the one on the right with color, I just get a ring of yellow. The one on the left is a group, and the one on the right is a compound path. I can ungroup this one on the left and have two separate circles, but there is no option to ungroup the one on the right. If I want to separate it into its individual elements, I have to release the compound path. Now remember, I said that creating a compound path does not change how a design cuts, but it does change the way it behaves. So let's look at this. Here I want to make a picture frame and weld the word love to it. I drew two rectangles and centered them inside one another and typed out the text love. This one is just three individual elements: the outer rectangle, the inner rectangle, and the word love. Now, for the one on the lower right, I'm going to take the two rectangles and first make them a compound path. Okay, now let's select everything in the one on the upper left and weld it. See what happens? It just all becomes one big rectangle. But now let's weld this one that I made a compound path out of first. Here I get exactly what I want, but you have to make that frame into a compound path before you try to weld. Now, if you want to modify an existing design, you may need to release the compound path. So let's take a couple of examples here. I'm going to use these earrings by Sweet Elsie. They are design number 275675 in the Silhouette Design Store. If I fill them with color, you can see that I have some compound paths there. First, I'm going to ungroup them, so I'm just working with one of the earrings. I'm going to release the compound path, and now I've got the outer shape, the ear wire hole, and the inner teardrop. If I change that line color or that fill color to transparent, you can still see all the pieces. It will still cut the same, but now I've released the compound path. And that will allow me to manipulate this shape. I can either make this smaller, or I could delete it altogether, or just whatever I wanted to do. Now, after I have it like I want it, I'm going to make it back into a compound path just so I can see it better, to be able to tell where I've got my ear wire hole. Another example might be this conversation heart box. It's by Jamie Cripps, and the design number is 284223. Let's say I wanted to change the text in the top of the box. First, I'm just going to ungroup it because I don't need all of these pieces over here. And I'm going to work with the box top. Now I can ungroup it, but if I ungroup it, I've just got this. I don't really have separate letters. But if I'm going to group it back so you can see, if I release the compound path, you see I have some individual letters I can work with. Now you have to be careful because releasing the compound path also means that if you ungroup it, the little centers of the letters will be separate as well. So let's say I wanted to change this just to say love instead of Y-O-U, just the U. I can put that there. I can go back, make it a compound path, and that was a pretty easy change. I hope this tutorial has helped you understand compound paths a little better and given you more confidence in using them in Silhouette Studio. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll try to help. Thanks for watching.